I am resident of Collinwood for YouTube, joined by my buddy Killenberg Daniel Culver, and joined by my buddy at under slash Barnabas Mark Gillman. We're here to discuss
Hey.
Halloween 1 and 2, the first two movies.
Hmm.
Daniel, I gotta ask you this. Do you think and I gotta ask, same question to both people, to Mark and Daniel. Daniel first. Do you think we'll get a Charlie Bowles connection from this movie, from the original to the current trilogy?
I honestly don't see it happening, but it definitely could. I
Yeah.
think I remember hearing there was a comic book that mentioned it or something.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think so. Um, I liked it and would like to have something about it, but I don't know if it's. I think they're going to have a lot to, like plug into this movie in the runtime. So I don't know. I doubt that's going to be in there. Just my opinion.
Right. So we know the opening of John Carpenter's original Halloween, where they're playing the theme, and then it comes out, and then you hear these kids, and then you see a view looking at a house, and here it's little Michael Myers. So, how scale 1 to 10, guys? How lazy is Judith for losing track of Michael? Daniel?
Oh yeah, I'd say pretty lazy. Although let's be honest, it's mostly because she was, doing it with her boyfriend.
That's true. That's true. Mark.
Yeah, I don't know if I would call her lazy, but yeah, she definitely wasn't thinking with her heart. So yeah,
No.
I'll just leave it at that.
Oh God. Yeah. Here's the thing too. I love Michael's around here someplace. like he's right outside the window, lady. Um, Here's one for you both too. How lucky, well, unlucky too, because he didn't get laid. There's no sex doesn't happen that fast. But how unlucky is Judas dipshit, or sorry, lucky is Judas dipshit boyfriend that he did not get a knife in his back. Daniel.
Oh yeah, I'd say very lucky. Oh yeah, I should correct what I said before. Like, she wanted to get laid by him.
Mhm.
Mark.
I think he was very lucky. He was extremely lucky, but I think just my opinion, and I don't really know Michael's motivation.
Right.
Well, I mean, if on this, in this end and 1 and 2 that we're talking about tonight,
Right.
it, uh, the family connection. Um, I think there was something that he felt like a betrayal with his sister in some way. So I think his anger was mainly targeted towards her rather than the boyfriend.
Yeah. It's really weird too, because I sort of think this is sort of where the fate thing really starts to begin too. Like, because Judas' boyfriend leaving and just this walking out feels really weird. Like, even when I went back and watched it today, I'm thinking, man, is it really luck? Because no sooner does he leave and he goes up and then Michael goes up and murders Judith. He comes down and the parents are home. I'm sort of wondering if by the time they got she got her clothes off, she's like, looked at time like, oh shit, mom and dad's on their way home. You got to get the hell out of here.
I'm thinking that's what happened.
Daniel, what do you think, man?
Oh yeah, I agree. I think that's what happened.
If my brother was alive, he could attest to many of those stories. Girlfriend got to go home. You gotta leave. Parents are on the way home. But but it's really interesting. So, what did you guys? Here's 19-year-old Jamie Lee Curtis. This is her first motion picture, her introduction role. Now, she doesn't get the top billing. That belongs to Donald Pleasence, who's been well over 100 movies by this point in his career. I mean, my God, the titles that man was in, but he gets the starring nod in here. John Carpenter obviously originally wanted Peter Cushing or Christopher Lee. They both turn him down. He gets Donald Pleasence. Here's an interesting question for you both, because I rewatched the original Assault on Precinct 13. Now, Charles Cypress doesn't star in that movie, but he is in it. He gets killed off fairly quickly. I'm sort of wondering if if Charles Cypress ever got considered for a main character in another Carpenter movie, not necessarily Halloween, but do you think Charles Cypress ever got? I know he's been in other Carpenter movies, Escape from New York, but do you ever think he got consideration for like an actual like main character that I know Brackett doesn't get killed off, but doesn't get killed off and actually is the hero of the story? Daniel?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. I could see him being offered something like that,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure if he's ever was, you know.
I don't either. He's a really good actor too. That's what's crazy. Mark, what do you think?
I don't know. I think he could pull it off, but I'm not sure if that's something he would really want to do, because I think some actors, I think, and I don't know very many, to be honest with you. I think some are more comfortable being in a supporting role than wanting the weight of carrying a movie on their shoulders. So maybe he might have felt more comfortable being a supporting actor. And
Yeah, I
yeah,
could say that.
because
Yeah.
he does really well, extremely well as a supporting actor.
I tell you what's really weird too is when you watch like Laurie Strode and Tommy Doyle interact with each other. That's really now Laurie doesn't see Michael right away. We see him. We see him looking out the house. But this is sort of where you first hear about the boogeyman thing. And it's like, okay, what's what like at first I thought, it's no big deal. But I tell you the line that really sold me of something's really fucked up with this town. And I want to ask you guys if this is where you picked it up too. When Laurie Strode says, I thought you outgrew superstition, kiddo, which was felt like weird and eerie at the same time. Daniel, what did you think of that?
Yeah, I'd say you pretty much described it well. You know, it was weird, but you
Yeah.
know, it was. I would say it was pretty eerie. Yeah.
What do you think, Mark?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I think it's definitely strange and eerie, like you said, but I think, like you said, it speaks a lot of the town that there's a lot of superstition that's around in Haddonfield. It's
Yeah.
a very, and you and I are both from small towns, so I mean, they each have their ghost stories, their superstitions and things, and I think Lori was trying to outgrow that, but there was something there that she just couldn't get away from.
Yeah, I can give you like at least well, it depends where like if you're up where I'm at now, if you're in the mountains, people will tell you, well, like down in the hollow is haunted.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, I've been down there. No, it's fucking not. But but they'll tell you it's haunted. You'll hear strange sounds, but I mean, when won't you in the mountains? Um, and then there's this town of Connellsville itself, which I'm like 20 minutes from, just going off the mountain alone. Is that the river, the Yawk River, some say is haunted. Now, here's the thing to that. There's actually been drownings in that goddamn river, so I might believe that one. So yeah, I do think you have, like you said, I agree with you. You have. It's weird, like no matter where you live, every town has a ghost story.
Yeah.
Like no matter where you live, but like in a small town, you're right. Like things circumvent around. I do find it strange for her because it's not just her, it's Tommy Doyle too, who
Yeah.
he's getting teased by the kids, Bonnie Lamb, and so, the boogeyman, but it's like, okay, you have Lori, you have Tommy, you have Lonnie Elam and his friends. Usually bullies are bullied themselves. It's something Halloween Kills touched upon, which was interesting.
Yeah.
But when I go back to this, I'm going, okay, so was Michael, and here's my question for both of you guys, was Michael told about the boogeyman? What do you think, Daniel?
That's actually a good question.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not sure. Maybe. I know I'm I know I'm not giving you the best answers, but
It's all right, man.
Good.
What do you think, Mark?
I don't know. I would say that Michael heard something about the boogeyman, especially with the guy, was Charlie Bowles, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
I'm sure he heard, things about that. And I'm sure Michael knew something about a boogeyman, but whether or not he thought about becoming one, or that he was going to be the next one, that's something good to chew on.
I think even in this current trilogy, it's something I ponder. Because it's like it sort of feels like, especially with this new trilogy, that's, to me, that's the case, that Michael, whether he was born evil, or not, Michael chose to be evil. Michael made the choice to do what he did, and that's what makes him really sick. Like, he's fucking that evil. But do I think he heard about a boogeyman? I think you can subconsciously or consciously choose to become like this entity. I'll give a great example of this, and it's weird because it involves a superhero, Batman. Batman became in a sense an entity,
Right.
and really, so here's another one too, the Shadow. Like, you have characters becoming something, other than what they were, or something other than they are. And that, I think, that sort of defines Michael now in this trilogy and in this a bit, that he's stalking, whether Lori, I know this is the sister connection we're talking about, but Lori coming to his doorstep and putting the keys down, it's like, it's like, oh shit, like, it's really creepy. And the fact that she says what she says later on, it's like, okay, so now you have a serial killer, and now you have certain, like, a weird legend surrounding this town of, well, wait, if this has been going on here, and here, like this generation, there's always a previous generation where something started. Like, you'll hear something from, like, your parents or your grandparents or your grandparents' grandparents, and it's passed down to you. I know I'm rambling. I apologize.
No,
But
not at all.
it's really, it's weird. Like, when I'd go visit my great uncle in Tennessee, he'd tell me about, like, he told me about the legend of the Bell Witch, and I'm like, the what? So, like, when he said that, I was like, you're out of your mind. And then he showed me where it was. He showed me the caves and stuff. I'm like, oh shit, yeah.
Yeah.
But so there is something. There's lore in every town, but to have that lore mixed in, with a serial killer was really just. I think that's what makes the original so eerie, is that you have a legend, you have a preconceived legend already sort of cemented in, even with your serial killer. And I want to ask you guys this: what did you guys think of Laurie Strode, or sorry, yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis I want to say her name is Nancy Loomis. I could be wrong about that. But and PJ Souls, what did you think of their chemistry, Daniel?
I actually think their chemistry is, you know, like I think it was done really well. You know, well, you know, they have really good chemistry. That's what I should have said. You know, you know.
That's fine. I got you. What do you think, Mark?
I think their chemistry was good for Lori to be so different than them because, Linda, PJ Souls, was, an absolute party girl, had no cares. She was going to do whatever she wanted. Linda was a little bit of both. She had a little bit of, that responsible uh, side that Lori had, and also like the party side that Linda had. And, Lori was great, just, the straight girl, responsible. So I think that, they were three good types that worked well together.
Yeah.
They complemented each other, and I could see them being good friends.
Here's a question. Here's a fun question for you guys. I'll throw this one to Daniel first. This is good. Mr. Riddles, is he dead or is he alive? Mr. Riddle, I should say.
Who is that again? I know that I probably shouldn't be
He
asking.
was he was the guy who, when they're talking about, I saw someone standing in Mr. Riddle's backyard, and they say probably Mr. Riddle, and here it's Michael Myers. But I'm thinking, well, did Mr. Riddle see Michael and like have a stroke in his house or something?
Oh yeah, I never thought about that. I'm not sure, but I would say he's probably still alive. We just never see him, you know.
That's true. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, I'd say in Halloween 1 and 2, I'd say Mr. Riddle's still alive and still, like being a peeping Tom, like they were saying that they felt like he was watching them. So yeah, I think he was definitely a peeping Tom.
Let me give you a side story of what I think happened because this is funny. I think Mr. Riddle peeked open his screen door, seen some dude standing in his yard, and he's like, "No, I'm just using the binoculars on that chick today. Nah, nah, I'm good."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, if it doesn't make me look bad that I had to ask who that was. I mean, I watch that movie every year, you know.
Here's the thing,
I don't
like
know.
there's characters like that are like forgettable. Like, you know what I mean? Like Mr. Riddle's one of them because it's like he's mentioned so quick,
Mhm.
and it's you're more focused on what she did see. It's like,
Mhm.
wait, you know that was not her goddamn neighbor in that goddamn yard.
Exactly.
Yeah. like like we know who that was. But it's like, so Mr. Riddle's like in the house, he's got the binoculars, like, yeah, I don't give a shit about that guy in my yard. He can stand there. Oh, he's gone? Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Brian Andrews, I'll throw this to Daniel first. What did you think of his performance as Tommy Doyle?
I would say he actually did pretty well.
Yeah. Is does he well? Does he not get enough credit for his portrayal? You think?
I would say that I do understand, like, you know, they couldn't contact him in Halloween 6 and
Yeah.
probably Halloween 4 as well, but I wouldn't have mind if he did return, but I don't know about now, you know.
Right. It's weird because he never has like, I know, like in two, the one we're gonna discuss that too. They like use a clip with it being reshot, but it's really weird that he's only been in like one or two of these, which is crazy because he does do a good job. What did you think, Mark?
I thought he was really cute. I loved when he and Lindsay got together. I thought they had some really cute moments together, and I thought he did really well. I mean, because we see a lot of child actors that aren't so great, and I thought he was good.
Yeah. Here's a fun one for you guys. Uh, we know who voices Paul, the great master of horror himself, John Carpenter. So, Skit, how lucky is Paul that Annie did not make it over to his house?
I would say, oh, that's a good question. Wouldn't that be bad for him?
Could you, like, Daniel, Mark, could you guys imagine, like, yeah, come pick me up, honey. She actually gets in the car, and he just doesn't. Michael chooses not to get in the car, wait for them to come back, and they come back, and there's John Carpenter. It's like John Carpenter's about to write himself a death scene. This is gonna be good.
Yeah.
He actually does get killed in the Rob Zombie version.
That's right.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
What did you guys think about that, Daniel?
What, the Rob Zombie thing or
But the original, that you have Paul, who's voiced by John Carpenter. He does a good job too, but how lucky is he that he doesn't get picked up?
Well, I'd say lucky, because you never know. Michael Myers could have gotten in the car and ended up killing him.
That is true. What did you think, Mark?
I think that Paul was thinking he was going to get lucky, and I think he didn't realize, how lucky he was going to be in another way. So yeah, I think he thought he was going to get lucky with Linda, but yeah, he got lucky in a much better way. So but I guess on a darker side to that, I guess there was like some guilt that he might have felt, thinking I should have been there and, tried to help her, tried to save her, and him having to live with that. I would like something like that brought out in Halloween Ends if they mention Paul.
It's really interesting because they sort of, in Halloween 2018, when that one, I want to say his name's Dave or Davey, who gets killed trying to like defend his girlfriend's honor, like from Michael, and he just gets stuck up to the wall, a knife to the chest. I'm thinking this is basically what would have happened to John Carpenter's character.
Oh yeah, yeah, he would have been slaughtered for sure.
Oh my god,
it'd be so cool. Paul did show up. Oh, sorry to interrupt you. It'd be cool if he did show up and he was actually played by John Carpenter.
That would be. That would be. See, that's what I'm hoping. Like in Ends, give John. Like I know I don't think he'll do it. That's the thing. But I would love to see John Carpenter get a cameo appearance in this movie. I mean, this is gonna, because to me, whether this is the last Halloween or not, and it probably won't be. This probably is going to be the last Halloween John Carpenter is associated with.
Mm-hmm. I think so too, and I think it would be. I mean, I think that they were trying to be very inclusive with this movie. I haven't looked at any of the cast or anything because I want to be surprised, but I was looking on Twitter and it looks like they invited a lot of people to the premiere. Some of the cast that was in the Rob Zombie movie, some of the people that were in the Halloween sequels. So I think that they were trying to be really inclusive in this one. So I think it would be awesome if John got a cameo, and I think it's well deserved if he did.
Yeah. What do you think, Daniel?
Yeah, I would say this is probably John Carpenter's last one, which sucks, but
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I'd like to see him. Like I said before, I'd like to see him play Paul, or maybe just a cameo, like Mark said.
Yeah, it would be really cool. What did you got? Nick Castle well. There's many people who don the Michael Myers costume, the mask, but how great was Nick Castle as Michael Myers in the original? Where would you rank him among all the Michael Myers you guys have seen, Daniel?
I would honestly say he's the best. I know a lot of people are probably gonna say that, but
Right.
I'd say he's the best.
What do you think, Mark?
I would agree. I think that Nick Castle and Dick Warlock, I mean, they were very different, but I think that they worked well for, the two movies that they were in. That Nick was, very, he was very quick, but he was, his movements were very, very creepy and very disturbing. And in Halloween 2, Michael was wounded. He had been shot 6 times. stabbed with a knitting needle. And so, yeah, he's going to move slower because he's been wounded pretty badly. So I think Dick Warlock and Nick Castle are absolutely the two best.
Yeah, I really Dick Warlock. I'm telling you, he holds a special place because the way I love the way he walked. I mean, he did to me. He paid the best. I know. I love how he's the new guy. Oh God, I'm gonna kick myself. But James Jude Courtney does a really great job walking. But I think Dick Warlock deserves a lot of credit because I mean he had to follow Nick Castle.
Yeah,
He was the first person that had to follow Nick Castle, and then, as we've learned with other roles, it's never easy to follow the person who did it first.
no,
You know, it's really, I think they both do a great job. And I agree with you both. Nick is the best, but I have a soft spot for Dick Warlock. He's amazing.
yeah.
What
He
did you? Or
like
sorry,
the.
go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was Daniel. Were you trying to talk, man?
Oh no, I wasn't actually. It's okay though.
Go ahead, Mark.
Sorry.
Oh. Um, what did you guys think of Linda Vanderklog comes over with her boyfriend and there's nobody home. they start they start making out and guess who's watching them? Michael Myers. So Michael's watching people, get it on. I mean, that's not creepy at all. No, it is. But what did you guys? How at a scale of 1 to 10? How creepy was it that Michael's watching these two people just make out and like he does not give 1 ounce of shit? What do you think, Daniel?
That actually is pretty weird, but I never really thought much of it. I kind of figured Michael Myers didn't really care. He was just doing it.
Yeah, it's we like it's eerie as hell. What did you think, Mark?
I agree with Daniel. I think he was, he wasn't watching for any kind of pleasure or something. I think he was just he was waiting for a moment for the right moment to strike.
I like how they're so like. I know some people consider this a goof up that they mention ripping Lindsay's clothes off, but I think because they're so drunk that they just say the wrong name. That's how I always took that. But
Mhm.
Yeah,
so
probably it.
you know, and what did you guys think of? I keep skipping over Donald Pleasence, but Donald Pleasence starred in this movie. He played Dr. Sam Loomis. How we always hear the question, how big was Donald Pleasence to the franchise, and it's huge. But I'll ask this instead: because of Cushing, Christopher Lee, they turned the role down. How big is it that for Halloween that they did get somebody the caliber of Donald Pleasence?
I'd say it's a good thing.
Yeah. Do you, go ahead, Mark.
Oh, I was just going to say I agree. I think it was a big deal, and I think where a lot of Hammer films were kind of a dying trend at that time when Halloween was made, I think that Halloween wouldn't have been the big hit that it was if Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing would have accepted the role,
Yeah.
because I think that people would have kind of written it off as like, oh yeah, it's them again in another horror film. And I really think that just what Donald Pleasance brought to the role was so amazing, and I love everything he's in.
Yeah. Have you ever seen You Only Live Twice?
Hmm. Oh yeah, yep.
The fact that they picked Donald Pleasance for that to be the fate, like that's who they revealed as the face, is it was so good.
Hmm.
Oh my God, him and Connery were great together. But
Yeah.
in the original, what's something that shocked you guys both? Is there a scene that still shocks you today?
Honestly, not really, because I actually didn't really watch the Hollow movies until I was 19. I knew of their existence, but I didn't really know much about them. But then when I was 19, I decided to buy the first original 8.
Yeah, Mark.
I think the fact that the movie ends with him still alive.
Yeah,
That was a big surprise for me, because I thought the first time I watched it that, I mean, he was shot 6 times, and he
yeah,
fell out. He fell out of the second story window and was just there on the ground. I thought he was gone. I mean, I thought he was dead. And then when Loomis looked back out and he was nowhere to be found, and then the movie goes off and you still hear him breathing, that freaked me out.
yeah. I'll tell you what shocks me to this day, because I don't think you've seen it with some serial killers. You do get this. I think the most with Norman Bates, but just how smart Michael Audrey Myers really is as a killer. Here's a guy that lures the girl he's been stalking over. He puts a body down. She goes upstairs. He goes downstairs and puts the goddamn rake against the door, and then goes back upstairs just in time for her to walk out the room. Is just scary smart. Like, that's not somebody who's that's something I've always somebody asked me, do you think Michael Myers is insane? And I said no, because no insane person can be that calculating. I mean, that's a calculated risk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because here's the thing, if she walks out sooner and sees him on that landing, what's she gonna do and what's he gonna do? Is he gonna now chase her into the bedroom? Like, is she gonna jump out a window? To me, that's one of the most calculated risks a killer could take, is leaving the victim alone, not going in to stab her. He just walks out, walks around the house, puts the rake up against her, comes back around, goes back in the house, goes up the steps. That's what shocked the shit out of me, how smart he was.
Mm-hmm.
To this day, that's what it's like. That's something I've been wanting to see, and sort of in this trilogy. And you did get some of it in Kills, and I hope we see more of it in Ends.
Mm-hmm.
So again, really, really good. So guys, Halloween 2. Oh, by the way, Merrington, I forgot to mention, Merrington Winnington in the original returns in Halloween 2, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So Mark, you were touching upon, like, you and I, last time we touched upon her, she had a very high connections. So Daniel, what do you think of Merrington Winnington as a character person?
Um, I'd say she's okay. I know I'm giving you a bland answer again.
It's like, you're good, dude. You're good. It's all
You're
right.
good, dude.
Yeah, I, I think it's here's what's really weird about her, because she's somebody who doesn't really do much in the first one, but you're sort of wondering, okay, what's her use? And then when she comes back in the second one, it didn't just feel like they were tying the films together. It felt like there was an importance to her in the second film more so than in the first. In the first, she nearly gets killed. She gets her hair pulled by Michael Myers. But in the second movie, she has more of an important role to play, which is interesting. I know I'm jumping way ahead,
Mm-hmm.
but we'll start at the beginning. Here's my first question to you guys: How Alan Howler scores Halloween 2? What did you guys think of the score for Halloween 2? Daniel?
I think it sounded pretty good.
It's Mark?
Um, when I first heard it, I didn't know how to think about it. Um, I didn't like it as much as the original, but over time, I like that score better because you can hear John Carpenter's themes in it, and I mean they're not as simple and scary, but at the same time, um, they there's just something, I don't know how to really describe it, that's really dynamic in the sound and very powerful in the music. There's a lot more like of a darker tone to this, and especially like in the main theme when you see the skull opening up, or the jack-o'-lantern opening up and the skull inside, you can tell this is going to be a much darker tone movie, and
Yeah.
it's very theatrical, it's very dynamic. I love the score to Halloween 2. It's my favorite.
I first showed this to my cousins when Joe Bob Briggs showed it on Monster Vision,
Hmm.
and they were like they did not want to go to bed. So I did my job for that night. But
Not.
but the score was, it's funny, when I was writing Hell on Halloween Night, I had this score playing on my computer as I was writing. So
Hmm.
like I love this score simply because of Halloween 2, and to me it's my favorite theme. I think
Hmm.
it just fits. Like I've never heard a bad Halloween score to me. I
Right.
can't complain about any of them. I've never heard them be bad. I think they're all good, but two does really something for its entrance with the pumpkin splitting open. It's creepy
Hmm.
shit,
Yeah.
especially when you know what's coming later. But it's just really, and I love the line that leads, all into this. The you don't know what death is. Is
Hmm.
just it's just eerie. And so Donald Pleasance returning as Dr. Sam Loomis, Jamie Lee Curtis returning as Laurie Strode. Laurie Strode is in a hospital for the majority of this movie. I know some people complain about that for this movie, but what are you guys' thoughts about Laurie Strode being in a hospital for the biggest part of this movie, Daniel?
I actually didn't mind it too much. It actually makes sense. After what she went through in the first one.
Yeah. Do you think they should have had more staff at the hospital, or
Yeah, that would make more sense. And also, Michael Myers could have killed more nurses and stuff.
yeah? Mark, what do you think?
I think it was good because a hospital is somewhere that you think is going to be safe, and it's that Lori was away from the danger, that she's in a place where she's going to get help, and even hospitals aren't safe for Michael Myers. um, and you and I, like I said before, we know small town hospitals, if Michael doesn't kill you, then the staff probably will. But yeah, I think the fact that it was set in a hospital and she was there was good for a creepy tone. And I'm guessing a lot of people were at this, whatever big party there was that all the adults in Haddonfield were at. So the hospital was kind of short staffed, um, which is odd on Halloween night because that's when most things happen.
Uh, Here's the thing: if you ever come to Cartersville, Pennsylvania,
Hmm.
Highlands Hospital is like the smallest hospital in the county,
Hmm.
and I was in when I go to their. There's times when I have to go like when you're not like feeling well and you go to their ER. Generally, there's like very like there was once one doctor and two nurses, and that was it. At
Yeah.
the That was it, and that includes admittance.
Yeah.
So you can imagine how small this is. But they make it work. So it's like it's just it's it, I always liked the fact that they had like a small staff with this big hospital. It's like it's the skeleton crew for the week. Yay! And they're at the party, and there's people at the party. Here's a bonus question about one, and I don't mean to jump back, so I apologize to you guys. How Michael's parents, did they fake their death? Yes or no? Daniel? What do you think?
I actually never really thought about that, but I would say no. I kind of feel they really did die, you know.
Okay. Mark, what do you think?
I agree with Daniel.
So you guys aren't going to go down the rabbit hole with me? I like it. I like it. It's really weird. Like when you look up the wiki and you read their death and how it was raining and how the weather was shit, and it's like you look at the weather and it's like, well, wait, for Chicago, that shouldn't be right. But that's what I've always found suspicious. Now we know because Lori in H2O, we know she's going to fake her death via car accident, which is really weird. But what did you guys think of Charles Cypress? Is not in this movie a whole lot, but he is in it. What did you guys think of his performance from Halloween 1 to Halloween 2? Daniel?
I actually think he did a good job. And I also like how he responded, to Annie's death. I know you didn't ask about that, but
No, I like what you're saying. Do you think what did you think of him and Donald Pleasence's chemistry in Halloween 1?
Well, I think they had good chemistry as well,
Yeah. What did you think, Mark?
I think they had really good chemistry. I liked his reaction to Annie's death in part 2 because you could just see that a lot of things he was feeling. Anger, regret, but I think most of all was shock, and I think he played that really really well, and you could tell he was in shock, and like Deputy Hunt told him, he said, go on home, and that's where he needed to be. And
yeah.
thought,
Ben Tramer, who gets mentioned in Halloween 1, Lori has a crush on him.
mm-hmm.
We know John Carpenter deals in fate. So scale 1 to 10, guys. How fucked up is Ben Tramer's fate in Halloween 2?
I would say an 8 because he literally became a skeleton,
Yes, sir. Yes. Mark.
I think it's very messed up because he still got killed by Dick Warlock, because Dick Warlock was the cop driving the car, and so I think, like, yeah, either way, it's just one of those weird coincidences. He was going to die from Dick Warlock.
You know what that was? That was a prime case of Barnabas Collins taught Dick Warlock how to drive. Right there. That's just evidence, dude.
Yeah.
Like, for whatever reason, Barnabas Collins has to have an influence on this franchise. He taught Hawkins how to shoot, which is not good. He taught Dick Warlock how to drive, which really ain't fucking good. And all of that led to the death of some fine people, goddammit. And you know what's really messed up too? If somebody calls you and says Laurie Strode likes you, hang up the phone, lock your goddamn door. Don't go outside. Like, I felt so bad for him because it's like, it's really strange because you hear about him and then you see this guy in this mask and you don't think nothing of it. You know what I mean? And then the car hits him and then boom. And then later, Ben Tramer was wearing this stupid look. I'm like, oh my fucking God. Like, you gotta be like, when they say that, every time I watch Halloween 2 every year, I'm just like, oh my God. Lori, girl, I love you. But that ain't good. Like, can you imagine? Yeah, the guy I liked, yeah, he got barbecued. Like, just saying that is messed up, but it's really, to me, I find it funny because obviously you guys know it's really crazy because you think of this current trilogy, we have yet to see Ben Tramer, and it's like, okay, we now need to see Ben Tramer alive. And by the way, if Ben Tramer dies in Halloween 2, I'm just gonna be like, it was fate. He was always meant to die.
Yep.
You know what's interesting is Jamie Lee Curtis didn't remember Ben Tramer. I don't know if you saw the interview, but an interviewer asked her if Ben Tramer was going to be the dad or of Karen, and she said who?
Yeah, that's true. That's
I
weird.
never saw that.
That was weird. But I think I'll say this though too. There was another interviewer for Entertainment Tonight who called Michael Myers Jason Voorhees.
Oh,
David Gordon Green's like, no, that's the wrong movie.
yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's weird. Like, I'll say this: Ben Tramer's not a forgettable character. It's just the fact I told you this before, Daniel. This is funny. When someone says Ben Tramer to me, I think of just like Kentucky Fried Chicken. Like, it's just solid. It's on fire. Like, hey, are you talking about that skeleton in the morgue? Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Him, I
Actually,
remember.
it's really funny. I saw a random person named Ben Tramer, and I actually commented. I replied their comment. I said, "Ben Tramer, is that you?" I did actually later explain like the reference. I don't remember how it went though.
Oh man.
That's so good. I love it.
I tell him to be careful when he crosses streets at night. Yeah, for sure. Look out for flying cops.
It's weird too because like when you go anywhere too, when you go into a crosswalk, it's like you're not guaranteed shit, and you're not. But Halloween 2, the kid, what's you guys' favorite scene in both Halloweens, in Halloween 1 and Halloween 2? Daniel?
Oh, that's actually a good question. I'd say my favorite would be when Michael Myers falls off the balcony, and that's when they ask when Laura asks, was that the boogeyman, and obviously Loomis says, as a matter of fact, it was.
Yeah.
Of Halloween 2. That's actually a good question. These are both pretty good movies.
I know, they're really good.
Yeah, they are.
Oh man, I'm sorry I'm taking so long.
That's okay, take
No,
your time.
dude, good. This is all for fun.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go with the ending actually, because you know how, like, you know Loomis actually blows up the hospital to stop Michael Myers. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Mark, what are your favorite scenes from both movies?
Um, my favorite scene from the first one, I mean, it's going to be weird. I mean, it's not anything important, but it's the first thing I think of when I think of that movie. It's when Michael comes out of the Wallace's house and Lori has, he's already got her leg and everything, and she's trying to find the keys, and it shows Michael walking across the street, and he's walking, towards the porch where she's at. Just that moment, I love that. And my second favorite part of the first movie, and I can't help it, it's a tie, is when Lori's backed up against the door, and you see Michael's face light up from the shadow,
Yeah.
and you see the mask light up right before he attacks. And those are my two favorite parts, just equally in the first movie. And for Halloween 2, it's that final scene in in the operating room.
Yeah.
And Michael comes in and he breaks through the door, and Laurie shoots him in the eyes. We get the bloody tears going down his mask, and that doesn't stop him. He just keeps swinging that scalpel, all the way until the end.
Yeah. My two favorite scenes, from the first movie, is when Michael's driving by the three girls, Lori, Annie, and Linda, and they say about who it might be, and Lori's like, I don't think so. It's like, and he's just driving by, then he speeds up, and Annie hollers something, "Hey, jerk, speed kills!" And it's funny because the one time they hollered at when I was watching it with my brother when he was still alive, and Michael hit the brakes. He's like, "Bitch, what you say?" And I was like, what did you say? I was like, oh my God. But Halloween 2, my favorite scene is when the kid walks into Michael with the boombox. I love that scene. Like, it's so good because he's listening to where Laurie's shirt is. And you're thinking, how's Michael gonna like get to nowhere to go? And then here's Michael just standing in the middle of the street, and something tells me he's walking back from the elementary school, and the kid just runs into him at like perfect timing, and that's where you hear the theme start to play, and as he's walking, it's one of the to me, that's my favorite scene because it's leading up to a lot of death at the hospital.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, really cool. What did you guys think of Hunt in Halloween 2, Daniel?
Hunt?
Yeah,
Character?
Oh. Yeah, Deputy Hunt. Yeah.
Oh, Deputy Hunt. I'm not sure, to be honest.
Okay. Mark, what did you think?
I liked him. I think he was the best police officer in the whole series. Out of any of the movies, I really liked Hunt a whole lot. I thought he was, he paid attention to Lewis. He didn't try to argue with him. I think he was, taking Lee's side at first, where he was trying to dismiss him and say that, he's dead. I saw him. But then I think he saw that, there was something to what Loomis was saying, and he kind of came around.
Yeah. I love Hunt's reaction to Ben Tramer's charred remains. Like, shit.
Yeah.
Well, I think he kind of helped with the reaction with, Annie's death too, because he's the one that tells Lee about Annie's death.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really interesting because once Loomis leaves, he looks defeated. Like he hangs his head. He's like, "What the hell do I do now?" Like he has no like. All he can do is tell the men to keep searching. But I find it interesting that they don't show you what he is doing or what he isn't doing. I think that's one of the most interesting aspects of Halloween 2. They don't, because after Loomis leaves, Hunt can do whatever he wants. It's like, does Hunt continue honestly searching or doesn't he? It's one of the best unanswered questions in Halloween 2 that you could sort of debate.
Yeah. That is a good point. I never thought about that.
It's weird, like, to think that, like, because I don't know either. Like, I'm not sure if he continued the search or not. I know with Loomis he was searching, but it's like at the same time, it's like, like Loomis said, where are you gonna look? Like, and I don't think Loomis is being a sarcastic person. He's just like, we've looked everywhere we could look. It's like and I think even Hunt is sort of feeling that too at the end, like when he hangs his head, it's like, yeah, where the hell am I gonna look? Like, seriously, because he has to have to have a manhunt like this. Yeah, the killer's on the loose, but when you've looked everywhere, where are you gonna keep looking? Like, it's like you're gonna continue the search. But it's one of the most interesting aspects of Halloween 2. What's you guys' favorite kill in Halloween 1 and Halloween 2? Daniel?
Kill.
Yeah.
I know this might sound weird, but I'd say with the first one, I would actually say the first kill when he kills Judith, because you don't expect a 6-year-old, to kill someone.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What about Halloween 2?
Oh yeah, that. Well, you know what? I'm gonna go with the hammer one.
Yeah. The
Mhm.
security guard.
Yep. Very good one.
Nice. Mark, what are your favorite 2 kills, man?
In the first Halloween movie, I'm going to say it's Linda. When Michael shows up with the ghost sheet and wearing Bob's glasses, that's just like an oh crap moment.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say Linda's death in the first one, and for part 2, oh man, there were so many good death scenes in part 2. Um, hmm. I'll probably go with Nurse Karen.
Ooh.
Yeah, the hot tub where her face melted.
I like that. In Halloween 1, I'm with Daniel. Judas Murder is, to me, Judas Murder is my favorite murder in the franchise because that's where it
Mhm.
started.
Yeah.
And Halloween 2, I I love the death of Mrs. Owls, even though you don't see it. And I'll
Yeah.
tell you why. Because the imagination of seeing it is all too creepy of
Hmm.
how that happened.
Hmm.
And I think it's like, oh my, because this woman was very strict and determined. So you can
Hmm.
only imagine she probably fought to the bitter end to not be put up like that. And it probably wasn't much of a fight.
Hmm.
But it's like, oh my God. Like to see, like Jimmy doesn't, the guy that played Jimmy doesn't get enough credit for his, like the look on his face says it all.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And it's just such a great scene. But that's my 2 favorite kills.
Hmm.
What Halloween 2, Michael stalking Lori throughout the hospital, when you finally hear that in this movie they reveal that Michael is Lori's sister, how shocked were you guys when you first watched this?
Actually, I wasn't shocked because it was already known by the time I saw them.
Right.
I have heard like for older people it was a big thing though.
Yeah. Mark.
I guess for older people that would be me. Yeah.
Oh, sorry to me like as a bad thing.
You're good, dude. I'm just messing with you. Um, no, I was really shocked because I'm like Daniel. I saw these as an adult for the first time,
Yeah.
and I watched them in order. I remember renting them from a store, and I watched Halloween, and then I watched Halloween 2 right after. And the fact that was his sister, I thought that was a really really big deal. And I mean, it just made sense, that he was trying to kill members of his family, and that's why he was so stuck on going after Lori. And I liked that connection. I thought it was pretty good.
Mark, if when you go to watch all the Halloween movies this year, like
Uh-huh.
put like a fake white gray beard on, old man Mark watching the Halloween movies. That'll be funny.
Oh yeah. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I don't have to try too hard. I went without shaving the last few days, and I saw like more gray in my stubble than dark hair, to be honest.
You see this right here? This
Yeah,
here? This is a patch of gray, a whole
yeah,
patch. Like it's my wife says, you got gray in your beard. I'm like, honey, I've had gray in my beard.
yeah.
So it's okay. But yeah, I think it's really interesting because when I first watched this, uh, uh, my mother made me watch these in order, thank
Hmm.
God. But I was shocked. I think it shocks me. I feel like I want to get my AARP card out, even though I'm not 50 yet. But it's really weird. Like, it's really strange when you hear somebody like, man, this dude's sick. Like, the fact that you killed one sister 15 years ago and now you're trying to kill the other. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, it's it's that crazy when you think about it, for me at least. But let me see, I'm trying to think it. Okay, I know we're all going to give the original a 10, right?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, definitely.
Okay. So Halloween 2, scale of 1 to 10, what do you guys give it?
I'd say an 8, or yeah, I'd say an 8.5 actually.
There you go. Mark.
For me, it's I'm going to go with a 10 out of 10. It's I think that John's is the best one. The original one is the best one, but Halloween 2 is my personal favorite of all the movies. So Halloween 2 is my favorite. I loved everything about the story. I thought it was really unique and cool how it picked up right at the moment where the first one left off, and the two of them together feel like uh, one big long movie. And I think that they feel pretty similar. And I think Halloween 2 was a great sequel, and at the time, a good ending to Michael Myers.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah, at the
Yeah.
I love how you're putting the disclaimer like that.
Yeah.
Like, at the time. But
it was satisfying for sure.
Yeah. I give this a 10 also. It's really entertaining. And I think it does everything the original does. And here's a movie that had to live up to one of the greatest horror movie, one of, if not the greatest horror movie of all time, in John Carpenter's Halloween. And I think it lives up pretty nicely. No matter what score you give it, it's really good, and it'll entertain you from start to finish. Now, is there anything you guys want to add before we go?
Oh, how did you guys like the mask? I know, as we all know, the mask was originally a Captain Kirk mask, spray painted white. They made some other modifications, but a lot of people might not be aware of this, but in Halloween 2, it's the same mask, but it started to rot by that point.
Yeah. Mark, what did you think?
I loved it, and I think that it just amazed me that what I think Tommy Lee Wallace was the guy that found the mask and fixed it up to look like it did. I think just if you're going to buy a mask for a horror movie, I mean, just what it just amazes me that you go and you buy a Captain Kirk mask and you think of what to do with it, where you remove the sideburns, the eyebrows, and you spray paint it white, and what you come up with. I mean, it's a simple mask, but gosh, it's effective. It's so freaking scary.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. I always thought it looked good too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Halloween 2, I like what they did with it. It looks good. It fits Dick really well.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. Like, that's another thing too. You're not getting Nick Castle back, and here's Dick Warlock, who again, the mask really fit him, and I think that's something you can say about each Michael Myers actor. The mask fit that person,
Mm-hmm.
and does a really good job. Anything else, guys?
Well, this might make you guys feel old again. Sorry to interrupt you, but I was actually in high school when the two Rob Zombie movies came out. I wasn't even born when these came out, but I still like these better. And I'm the type that, I'm very anti-remake, but how I watch franchises, how I watch franchises, I always have to watch the original first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think me and Mark are about the same way you are, and it's like, back in my day, son, We watched the old movies first. And God damn it, let me get my kid. You got that remake in your. I'll kick your ass. Get my old man out of me now.
Well, for those that are wondering, I'm 30, so we're all getting old, basically.
Yeah.
You quit lying. You don't look 30.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, I'm turning 41 on the 24th, so yeah.
Actually, a lot of people tell me that I look younger than I am.
Yeah, same. So,
Daniel, if you told me you got carded for liquor, I would not be shocked, dude. Like, if you
no,
told me that one day, I would not be shocked. I'm like, I'm not, because, dude, you do not look 30. Hand to God.
no, no, not at all.
I believe you, though.
Oh yeah. Actually, it's kind of funny you say that one because when I first moved to Florida, well, shortly after I first moved to Florida, I bought the last house on the not the last house left, the cabin in the woods.
Yeah.
I bought that on DVD, and the cashier said, "How old are you?" And I actually showed her my ID to show, that I was of age.
Yeah. Well,
Nice.
it's like, that's the best compliment you can get, really. I mean, it is. Mark, is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, just one question. Are you all going to watch Halloween Ends this week?
Yes.
Yeah, I plan to too.
I'm
All right.
watching it on the streaming network.
Well, that's what I'm doing too. I know some people are like talking bad about that for some reason. I don't really get that.
Mhm.
You know, talk bad about it all you want. I'll still be watching it. That's what I would tell them too.
Yep, exactly.
Like, here's the thing too. There's no walk-ins close to me,
Mhm.
so it's like they've literally, where I live, have left you no choice but to rely on, because I'm not driving 40 miles to like the next walk-in. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what sucks, really. And it's like, okay, like, so when someone tells me, "Oh, how could you watch it on stream?" Well, hey, I have no choice but to watch it on stream, though, in a sense too.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it's like they've sort of, no. When I say they, I don't mean Blumhouse. I just mean where I live. Whoever, just AMC deciding to pull out of here was just stupid.
Yeah.
It's like, and then they, okay, gas prices went up. Plus, they want you to drive. It's like, dude, if I drive to Pittsburgh, I might as well fucking rent a hotel room, and that,
Yeah.
it's like an hour away. And
Mhm.
then the other one, it's like, I still might as well like, no, it's not worth all that.
Right.
You can't even bring your own snacks.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
another. It's like, hey, if that's the thing. Make an exemption for something, or at least put a theater back where I live.
Mhm.
That's the insanity of it. It really is just crazy. And I'm sure there are other places like that.
Mhm.
I'm sure we're not the only county in the state that has that problem.
Yeah.
Until AMC theaters go back to, get put back,
Mhm.
whenever that happens, that's how it is currently here, at least.
Well, that's cool though. I'm glad that it's available for you all to get to watch it, so you don't have to wait for it to come out on DVD.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. I want to get to see it in a theater tomorrow. I think at 8:30 is when it starts. So I'm really really excited about all three of us getting to see it this week. I think it's going to be great.
When do you think you'll see it? On the same day it comes out?
Oh,
Mark?
I'm seeing it tomorrow. They're having an early screening of it tomorrow.
So me and Daniel will probably see it the day it comes out. When do you guys want to review it? We'll just all three review it together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, do you mind if, I know this might sound like a great question, but do you mind if I do a separate review as well? I don't want to like discredit or anything.
No, go ahead, dude. You know you're good.
I'm down for any time. Probably after Friday.
Okay.
So time after Friday would be good for me.
Okay. Is Monday good for you, Mark?
Should be. Yeah, I don't see any problem with that.
Daniel, is Monday good for you, dude?
Yeah,
Monday
I
night.
think Monday's fine.
All right, Monday night, 10:30ish.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a little later because I got to make sure my kids are awake. So probably like 10:40 we'll do this.
Okay.
And 10:40 p.m. And then after that, after we do Halloween ends, the three of us got to get together and do Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
actually am one of the few people likes that movie.
Yep, we all three do. We're all three in that same boat. So
Yep.
we're all good. So I'm going to leave a link to Daniel Culver's channel, Killenberg. Go check him out. Go follow him on Twitter at Killenberg. Go follow Mark at _Barnabas. Also, I'll leave a link to his channel. Guys, gentlemen, it has been a blast and a pleasure. Thank you both.
You're welcome, and thanks for having me.
You're welcome. See you
Here.
guys.
All right.
See you
Good
guys.
night.
Good night.
Yeah, good
Bye.
night.
Bye.